Hi, good evening, everyone. Hello.
Mega, good evening.
Yes. Good evening and welcome, everyone. So myself, Megha, I would be the host for today's session. And thanks for joining us today. So today, the session would be conducted by Praveen Udupa regarding the secrets that all successful product managers know, but will never tell you. So Praveen Udupa is the founder and the managing partner for Skillumin Learning and Consulting. Praveen has overall 21 years of an experience in all fields of product management, business analysis, and design thinking. Praveen also believes in the necessity and effectiveness of product management and business analysis mindset in creating transformational impact in organizations and society. In today's session, Praveen would be focusing on how to go about vision development, ways to build a product strategy and roadmap planning, and what are the key components and challenges of being a product manager. Over to you, Praveen, so you can address the forum.
Thank you very much. Welcome everybody. Today is a Friday evening, and it's 6:30 in the evening, and I know you all have a lot of much better things to do in your life, but appreciate that you have prioritized this webinar and are here. A long weekend in the US, so a lot of you might have had a very light work week, and thank you very much for choosing to be with us this evening. We'll try to make it worth your while, right? So today we're going to talk about 6 secrets of successful product managers, right? I'm going to talk about secrets in the sense that not everybody is holding it close to their heart. It's not like that, right? Secrets as in a lot of people are applying that. Successful product managers are applying some of those things to become successful, but it can't be verbalized. It can't be put into words. So I'm going to try and pick up those 6 atomic secrets, so to speak, right? And try and verbalize it, make it real for you today, right? And over the last 21 years, I have picked up some of these to varying degrees, and kind of had all these ideas, and very recently kind of classified, created a topology of these secrets in my own mind. I want to present that to you all. And if you stick around until the end of this webinar, there is a bonus 7th secret, right? So let's talk about the 6 secrets of successful product managers, right? Before I begin, can you give me a thumbs up if there's a virtual thumbs up that you can use on Zoom. So if everything is okay, you can hear me all right, you can see the screen, the slides are visible. Can you give me a thumbs up if few of you raise your hands or thumbs up? Okay, great. Thank you very much. So Megha is going to help me with cataloging your questions. I'm going to take all the questions towards the end, after the 7th bonus secret. So if you have any questions, please type it in the Q&A window that's there as a part of this Zoom interface. Megha is going to make a note of all these questions, and towards the end, based on the time that we have, she's going to pose those questions to me on your behalf, and I'm going to try and answer those questions to the best of my ability. Is that okay? So I'm not going to take questions in between. We're going to take questions towards the end. You've got to type the questions in the Q&A interface of the Zoom interface. All right, so let's get started. So Valmiki, right, back in the day, apparently he completed creating his magnum opus Ramayana, and once he finished his Ramayana, he created his Ramayana, he gave it to Narad Muni, and he said, hey, can you have a quick read and give me a feedback? So Narada, he went through Valmiki's Ramayana, and after going through the entire Ramayana, he came back and said, this is great, it's fantastic, it's absolute masterpiece, Valmiki, but it's not as good as Hanuman's Ramayana. Hanuman's is better. So Valmiki suddenly started shivering. Really? Hanuman's is better? I got to see that. I should have read it myself, but I haven't. So I'm going to go in search of Hanuman. So Valmiki goes in search of Hanuman. He finds Hanuman and he says, Hanuman, you apparently you've got a Ramayana version of your own. May I have a look at your version? So Hanuman says, sure, go ahead. And he gives him 6 plantain leaves full of his authoring of Ramayana. So Valmiki intensely studies those 6 plantain leaves, and towards the end, he starts crying. And Hanuman, being Hanuman, he says, really? That bad, huh? Valmiki says, no, this is extraordinary piece of literature. This is awesome. Mine is nothing compared to this. Nobody will read mine. The moment they know that Hanuman, you've got your own version of Ramayana, my Ramayana is nothing in front of it. Nobody is going to read it. Hanuman says, oh, is that your problem? Valmiki says, yeah, of course. All this effort that I've put to catalog Ramayana to the best of my ability is in vain because it's no good. Yours is better. So Hanuman picks up his 6 plantain leaves and tears them into shreds. He destroys it. He says to Valmiki, here you go. Now everybody will read yours. And Valmiki is shocked. He said, why did you destroy it? He says, I didn't create the Ramayana so that everybody reads it. I created Ramayana as an expression of my love for Ram. That's it. You have an ambition that everybody must read your Ramayana. It's great. Go ahead, publish it. Everybody will read it. Now everybody will remember your Ramayana. Meaning to say, the first secret of a product manager is humility. Absolute humility. Ladies and gentlemen, let's be aware that nobody asked us to show up. In his immortal blog by Ken Norton, it's called How to Hire a Product Manager. If you have not read this, please Google it. It's there. It's got like several tens of millions of views. I don't know how many. He's written this blog long time back as a part of when he was with Google. And in his first paragraph, he says, hey, remember, friend, nobody asked you to show up. And come to think of it, it's true, isn't it? Nobody asked us to show up. Who is designing and developing the product? The engineers are. Who is designing the interface and all the beautiful user? The designers are. Who is designing the copy and marketing strategy? The marketers are. Who's doing all the research on how the product is coming along, how the uptake is coming along, how the adoption is coming along, what's good, what's bad? The researchers are. Who's developing the product, who's writing the code? The engineers are. What am I doing? So basically, I'm not needed, right? And let's be aware of that. The humility aspect of product manager is highly understated. And that's the #1 secret of a product manager. A PM plays the PM game for the joy of solving users' problems, right? Not because of the fame that comes along with being a successful product, right? How many of you know who the product manager of Spotify is? How many of us know who the product manager that worked on Netflix, various features of Netflix are? How many of us know who works on the iOS? How many of us? All successful product managers out there, they are part of a team, and humility is the #1 secret of their success. Let's move along. The second secret. So here is a very arid piece of land, drought condition, and apparently this is how it is a lot of time during the year in this piece of land. And the farmers here are looking for a solution. What kind of solutions are there? Right? What kind of solutions are there? And if you start thinking about the solutions, says, hey, why don't we build a greenhouse, right? A greenhouse. Let's build a greenhouse so that, you know, the sun's intense energy is not evaporating all of the water. It's going through the greenhouse so we can conserve water. How about we lay pipelines underground? So we water the roots directly, and outside the harsh evaporative eyes of the sun, and then we can conserve water. What if we do cloud seeding? Let's do cloud seeding, shall we? Let's do cloud seeding. We get artificial rain. Let's do that. Or let's buy tractors and we go far away, fill it full of water. You become, we water all the plants, right? The solutions after solutions of solutions, dime a dozen. But you know why none of the solutions will work? Or it may as well work. But a solution that actually works is something that should work for that set of users. And unless we bring to the table that intense empathy for our users, we will not be able to craft a solution that works for that set of users. And the solution that worked, this is a real life problem somewhere in Africa. The solution that worked was a simple $2 solution of a bucket with a hole at its bottom, and it's turned around like that. And there's a pipeline that goes through. Very simple solution. It just prevents evaporation. And how is somebody able to come up with such a solution? And it's the only way possible is to develop that intense empathy for our users, right? Being able to feel the pain that our users are feeling, being able to feel the emotions that they are undergoing, actually experiencing the problems that they are, even though you're not in their shoes. That's empathy. The mantra is solve users' problem and not craft fancy solutions, right? That's the second secret. That's the second secret, right? Do you know what is one of the most intensely appreciated solution in iOS? That solution where iOS reads the OTP and presents the OTP right on top of the keyboard. That. Imagine the empathy that was required by those product managers who say, hey, this is a big problem. This has got to be solved. And that solution is among the most adopted solution across the world. Right? And now all operating systems, mobile operating systems have it, but iOS came up with that first, right? You know what I'm talking about, right? So you've got to enter an OTP. So the OTP comes through a SMS message. You've got to go open the SMS app, remember the OTP or write it down somewhere, then come back here, and then you solve that problem. Imagine the extent of empathy that these people must carry for their users in order to be able to discover, hey, this is a problem that's worth solving, right? That's the second secret of a successful product manager. Let's move on to the third one. So here's a metro station in one of these countries. And the problem with this metro station, among a lot of metro stations in the central business district of the city, was it used to get backed up a lot during peak hours. Huge queues to get into the metro station and get out of the metro station at these AFC gates, automatic fare collection gates, right? So they got to have to solve this problem, right? It would take several minutes, apparently, for people standing in the line to get in or get out of the metro station during peak hours. And those minutes are precious minutes, right? And they have to solve this problem, bring it down to possibly a few seconds, right? So if you and I were tasked with solving this problem, how would we go about doing this, right? So if you and I were going, task this problem, I would say, hey, there are only 3 gates. Let's add more gates, right? Let's add more gates. Let's add wider gates so that people are, are so many other possible solutions that we're thinking about. Let's add more metro stations. Why don't we add more coaches to the train instead of 6? Let's make 8 coaches in 8 boxes, 8 cars in one train, so that more people can get accommodated, right? these are all solutions created without empathy, right? And when there is empathy for our users, the third secret here is curiosity. The first thing that people ask is that, hey, why is it taking so much time? Let's go there, stand there and observe, right? Apparently they did do that. They went there in all metro stations. Somebody took a clip, a pad and a pencil and stood there observing the passengers going in and going out, going in and going out, going in and going out for several days across. And they all put their heads together and discussed their observations. And you know, the one observation that came through across all of these stations, that observation was, you know why it's taking such a long time? It's because of this. People have to insert their token or show their smart card at the gate. The gate reads the smart card, and if it's a valid smart card, it opens the gate and the individual walks through, and then it has to close. And only then the fellow behind can insert their token or show the smart card. So the fellow, it's actually taking few seconds for every individual to pass through, right? And that they found as the root cause. As I said, your favorite friend is why, and your favorite enemy is the root cause, as in you're attacking the root cause, right? So that is what caused the trouble. And you know what solution they identified? You'll be shocked. Maybe not as much because people in Delhi are seeing the solution now, but the solution that they identified was, let's keep the doors open. Let's keep the gates open. We'll flip the way the gates work, not the passenger's experience, but how the gate actually works. Instead of opening the gate on a valid ticket, it keeps open, it remains open, but it closes upon an invalid ticket or an invalid smart card. So it remains open throughout. And if no invalid smart card comes through, it will continue to remain open. But if an invalid smart card comes through, only then it will close. That solved the problem for them. That completely solved the problem. The seconds per individual, per passenger saved, added up, and the lines, they came down from several minutes to few seconds, and people kept walking. Curiosity and the intense empathy and curiosity and the intention to ask why and understand what's going on, that's the secret of a successful product manager. Third secrets for a successful product manager. So let's imagine that you are the product manager who was in that country, who solved this problem, and then you flew out to, let's say you went back to New York City, that's your home, let's say, or a Paris or Bangalore, it doesn't matter where, right? So you go to any other city, and as soon as you land in, let's say, New York City, the mayor of New York got hold of you. And he said, hey, Praveen, I know you solved this problem over there in that country. You know what? We've got the exact same problem here in New York City, buddy. Absolute same problem. Long lines, it's causing chaos in our stations. Can you help us out, please? What if I say to the mayor, you know, the problem is absolutely simple, Mr. Mayor, your lordship. The solution is extremely easy. Keep the gates open. What do you think will happen to New York subway network? It will get bankrupt 2 days later, right? Because everybody will pass through. The reason why the solution worked there in that country, because the solution worked for that set of stakeholders, that country, that citizenry, it worked there, right? The fourth secret of a successful product manager is a mindset. And the mindset has two elements, two dimensions to it, ladies and gentlemen. The first one is I don't know mindset. right? And the second one is I know mindset. What are these two mindsets, right? So let's dig a little bit deep into this, right? That I don't know mindset is that I don't know what to build. I need to have that mindset as a product manager. Very, very difficult, specifically if you do not have the first secret, humility, right? How can a product manager not know what to build? Maybe something's wrong with this product manager. What if these people try to judge me if I say I don't know what to build? But that's exactly the secret of a great product manager, to accept I don't know what to build and I don't know what our stakeholders need. How will I know unless I actually go have my empathy signals antenna up fully and have my curiosity firing on all cylinders? How will I know what to build? How will I know what my stakeholders need? And the I know mindset that should always be on is that I know I should not copy paste a solution, no matter how similar the problem spaces appear to be. Why? Because a problem space, no matter how similar it appears, what's fundamentally different are the stakeholders, are our users, or our stakeholders. They are different. And if you simply copy paste the solution, just because the problem space appears absolutely similar, we are in deep trouble. The second mindset that we need to carry, I know mindset, is I know that our users, our stakeholders also don't know what they need. Maybe they also don't know what they want. There's a difference between a want and a need, right? Sometimes wants are expressed, needs are not expressed. They're normally underlay suppressed, right? And if you go to our stakeholders and ask them, right, what do you need, right? Can you tell me what how I can help you? What other features do you need? They won't be able to answer you. And that's not the way to discover what to build, right? Because I know that our stakeholders also don't know many times what they want, and almost always they don't know what they need. We've got to discover what they need. And that's why step one of product management is called discovery. And there's in the 5I framework of UNext, it's called ideation, right? We got to understand what our stakeholders actually need, and we got to discover it, right? It won't come to us on a platter. The third mindset under the I know is I know that our users are not, our users' wants are not the same as their needs, right? So there's a difference between want and need, and we always have to know what the difference between a want and a need, right? So let's say 3M, right? The 3M, that the company that brought post-it notes. Let's say 3M says we want to get into the space of making umbrellas, right? And if they go around doing discovery and ask their users, hey, what do you want, right? What do you want in an umbrella? They might get, hey, what if you use actual steel, like stainless heavy duty steel in your umbrella, right? That's what I want. I want an umbrella made of steel, right? That's what they are expressing as their want. But that is not what their need is. Their need is, I want my umbrella to not fold backward during heavy storm. That's what is their need. And we've got to address their need. If we address their want, our product is not going to be any use, right? So a want and a need are two different things, right? And the last one is very important, specifically for people working in large companies. I know that the needs of our management is not the same as the needs of our users, right? And a product manager has to navigate the cacophony within the organization, right? Manage the chaos within the organization. Because there are two types of managers, one is called HIPPO, right? Have you heard of this? HIPPO, right? HIPPO is short form for highly paid person's opinion, right? It's called a HIPPO. The second is called a zebra, zero evidence, right? Zero evidence, but radical outlook, right? So it's called a zebra. So hippos and zebras, they come and say, you know what we need to build in our product? We need to build this in our product next, right? That's what we need to do. Elon Musk did that, this blue tick fiasco. And the product managers there did not know, or maybe they did not care about it. The Hippo is saying this is what we need to do. They just went ahead and it bombed spectacularly. You know that, right? Already. So the needs or wants of our management is not the same as the needs of our users. And that's the part of mindset that we need to be aware of, right? That's the mindset. I don't know mindset and I know mindset. That's secret number 4. Very, very powerful, always to be remembered. The 5th one is called product sense, right? You might have seen this term thrown around, here and there, product sense. If you go on Google looking for interviews for product manager, and you've invariably come across this term called product sense interviews. And you might be wrecking your head and say, what the hell is product sense, right? Like I did, right? What is product sense, right? So let's define what product sense is. Is there a way that we can define what product sense is, right? So product sense is your ability to make high impact product decisions, right? Decisions like macro decisions, like should we even build a feature? Let's say Amazon Music, you're the product manager for Amazon Music, right? Or Spotify. And then you start seeing customer feedback, consumer feedback, user feedback says, hey, I want social networking features. Can you build social networking features in Spotify? Because it would be great for me to select a song and share with my network within Spotify environment to say, hey, listen to this song and listen to this bit. It'll be great. We can form a community around music, around a podcast, right? So let's build social networking features. And let's say this, feedback comes through time and time again, and you're a product manager. Should you build the social networking features or should you not? That decision is driven by your product sense, right? That's not just at macro level. If you go all the way to a micro level on a singular screen, should I add nickname as a field in the user profile screen? That's also driven by your product sense, right? A product sense is the ability for you to make high impact product decisions, right? And you make those decisions consistently, correctly. And these 2 words are very important. And you can use consistently as an adverb to correct, both together. So let me explain that. You have to make product decisions, high impact product decisions consistently. And you have to make them correctly also. And you have to make them consistently correctly also. Right? Can you do that? And to top it all, you have to make these decisions consistently, correctly, even in the face of considerable ambiguity. You may not have data to back your decision, right? And product sense is that ability, that innate inbuilt ability for you to say, hey, I'm going to take a call, I'm going to do this, and you will be right with your decision. If there's data, everybody would be great product managers. If you have the time, effort, and budget to aggregate, collect data, and analyze data for every single decision that you have to make, then you're in a world called, Mars, where there's another community. You will not have so much time, effort, and budget for making every single decision. You will be required to make decisions in the face of ambiguity, in the face of extreme uncertainty. And even in that situation, can you make a product decision that's high impact and that's proven correctly, and you can make that consistently? That is called product sense, right? Now, some of you might be thinking, right? Hey, Praveen, I got it, buddy. I understand. But This definition is still as vague as it was when I watched that Google interview on YouTube, right? Can you make it real for me? How do I improve my product sense? Or are you saying that somebody is born with product sense? You either have it or you don't. Is that something like that? Absolutely not. Product sense is a combination of three underlying skills, right? Three underlying skills. I thank Shreyas Doshi and Lenny Rachitsky for this insight. If you don't follow Shreyas Doshi and Lenny on Twitter and all that on LinkedIn, please do right now. They provide very powerful, deeply impactful insights on improving or becoming and improving as a product manager. Just do that. And this one thing, it changed my outlook, right? And I'm going to echo what I learned from Shreyas and Lenny. Product sense is a combination of these three underlying traits, right? Empathy, domain knowledge, and creative thinking. Empathy coupled with curiosity, you are going to gain signals from your users about the issues that they're facing, about the problems that they're facing. Now, do we have to go about solving every single problem that our users are facing? Maybe not. How do I choose then what problem I should solve for them and what I should not? That is based on your domain knowledge, right? You use domain knowledge as a sieve, a filter through which you pass all the signals that you get through your empathy antenna. And what filters down are the problems that you've got to solve for your users. And how do you solve them? By using your ability to be creative, your creative thinking faculty. A combination of these three is product sense. So now I think it kind of is real for you, right? You can work individually on empathy. Empathy is something that you can sharpen, you can build, right? So that's something that you can work on. You can obviously work on domain knowledge, right? You can gain domain knowledge, you can work on domain knowledge. You can, exercise your brain and get, creative. Creativity, now scientists have proven, is not something that you're born with. You can gain creativity. All you have to do is to exercise that mental faculty. So you solve problems, so you can work on all three aspects. And if you work on all three aspects individually, combinedly, that is improving your product sense. You're enhancing your product sense, right? Domain knowledge, so the product sense is like this cup of coffee, right? Empathy is invisible. It's like the sugar in there, in the right proportion, the right quantity, right? Domain knowledge and creative thinking is cream and coffee in there, right? With proper amount of sugar and a beautiful blend of domain knowledge and creative thinking, you've got an extremely powerful cup of joe, right? That wakes you up every single morning, right? And that's product sense, so to speak. So what happens if you don't have product sense? This is what happens, right? Dilbert to our rescue. So Dilbert says, hey, I added all the product features that each of you demanded, right? And he says, now our product is a complete hodgepodge of worthless complexity. Says, I appreciate your input. I couldn't have failed without you. The manager says, hey, teamwork. That's what happens without product sense. The last one, before I hand it over to Megha, she has a few powerful insights for you, is leadership without authority, right? That's the sixth secret, right? Remember, the definition that most people give you, right? Who's a product manager? A product manager is a CEO of your product. Okay, great. I agree with that partially. But you know what the biggest difference between a CEO and is, and that you don't have what a CEO has? Authority. You don't have authority. Nobody reports to you, but you are in the hot seat. Developers, they report into engineering. Designers, they report into that specific team. They don't report into product manager. Marketers, they have their own team. Researchers, they have their own team. Nobody works for you. You're alone. But you've got to drive the team. How would you do that? How would you influence that team without authority? That's your secret. Secret sauce number 6 is leadership without authority. And you know the best part? Something goes wrong with your project, with your product, not project, product, it's your fault. Something goes right, it's a team success. And that's the way it is, guys. That's the rules of the game. And you can't help it. Right? So those are the 6 secrets of a successful product manager, right? Humility, empathy, curiosity, mindset, product sense, and leadership without authority. So I hand this over to Megha. She's got a few more insights for us all. So Megha, over to you. And then once you're done, pass it over to me because I have a bonus 7th secret. So we'll talk about that. All right. Over to you, Megha.
Sure, Praveen. So thanks for that great presentation, Praveen. So the insights given was really helpful. So before we end today's webinar, let me just take 5 minutes to brief you how the product management course of IIM Indore will make you an effective product manager in the industry. So the postgraduate certificate program in product management offers an opportunity to aspiring product managers, product owners, future CEOs to learn through a holistic approach. So the beauty of this program, if you see, it lies in bring your own product concept, where we are nurturing you as a product manager by making you to work upon your own idea and taking your idea through 5I framework, covering up the entire product life cycle. So let me just explain you how the training has been delivered. So we have an interesting concept here called as 5I framework, where we help the candidates to get a product idea. So product idea, it can be any kind of an idea. It can be a software product, it can be a consumer-based product, or it can be a service-based product idea. So where the candidate have to present their ideas to the senior most panels of industry experts. So they would also give some suggestions and feedbacks what we can actually do in the existing idea to make it more relevant in the market. So that is the first I in the ideate stage you would be learning about. So once the idea has been finalized, post which we take the product through innovation at the implementation stage, which ensures the product is unique and the prototype is actually built for the same. So once the prototype part is done, the next comes the industrialization part of the product. So here in the industrialization part, basically you would be learning how to launch your product into the market, where to launch it, who is the right set of target audience, what is the pricing that has to be quoted for the product, what are the marketing strategies, selling strategies, branding strategies of the product, and the continuous improvement is also being covered. So basically, which will help you to scale up the business by making the required changes according to the market trends and demands. So the best part is that students get an opportunity to work on their own idea with one-on-one mentoring from the industry experts for the guidance. So this entire program, if you see, it's going to be 6 months. It's going to be only weekend classes, Saturday and Sunday, which has been delivered by IIM Indore faculties and the top industry experts. So in case if you want to know more about how program works, I'll drop my email ID and contact number so that you can actually get back to me also if you have any further queries. Okay. So
back to me.
Yes, Praveen, we have few questions for you.
1 second. So there's one more. Okay, let's do the Q&A first, and then we can talk about the 7th.
Okay. So there is a question. Yeah, there is a question from Rakesh. Okay, so he's actually looking for the transition from customer success manager to the product management in his company, Microsoft. So he's asking whether that will be a good decision for him to take his career forward to product manager.
Excellent question. Product management role is a role that you have to aspire to get into, right? It's not everybody's cup of tea, But if that is a role that you aspire to, you're going to really enjoy. And a movement from a customer success role into a product manager role, according to me, is an excellent career switch, right? You should want a product manager role, and only then that switch will actually make you happier in your career, right? Otherwise, every role has, so to speak, crap content in it, right? For example, you don't have anybody to report into. You don't have anybody reporting into you, but still you are responsible for the success of the product. You have to be okay with some of these things, and only then you will enjoy a product manager role, right? And if you do enjoy a product manager role, you'll have to acquire a few skills in order to be successful, right? And those skills, there are two ways to acquire. One is the hard way, right? Where you kind of move into a product manager role, fail, learn, eventually be successful and trade ahead. Or you take a program, enroll into a program like, IIM Indore's product management program. I've gone through the course curriculum and things like that. So it's a really powerful program, and it's a really experiential program, right? Where they get you to do things, and instead of failing in the real world and learning, I might as well experiment and fail in the construct of a classroom and learn, and then go outside, be successful as a product manager, right? It is a really rewarding career switch from customer success into product manager, because as customer success, you have real insights into your users, I'm assuming, right? Your real insights into your customers, into your users, and you might as well use those insights to do something good for your users, and that good happens as a part of a product management role, right? And you need certain skills, so you learn those skills through a proper tailored education program, and then it's a great switch. So hopefully that answers your question. Yes, Rakesh? Okay.
Thanks, Praveen. So one more question is there. So the candidate hasn't mentioned the name. I'm just reading out the question for you. So I have experience in sales domain of about 4 to 5 years. I have been into IT product as well as chemicals, and I am a chemical engineer. What are the chances or probabilities of getting hired or upskilling now so that I can be a product manager? Will it make my career switch easy? Because these are the only these are the only two streams that comes under non-coding or maybe less coding. So is it the right time for me to start pursuing it without any fear?
Okay, sounds good. So here's the thing, guys. The role called product manager, right? 6 years ago, had anybody heard of it? It was in pockets within the organization somewhere, right? Nobody actually really heard product manager. 6 years ago, nobody said, hey, I want to train for being a product manager. No, this emerged to become a central role in the last few years after India started booming in the startup ecosystem, right? So the point that I'm trying to make is nobody is born with product management skills. Every single fellow who says I'm a product manager now moved into that role after acquiring those skills. So it doesn't matter what you've been doing so far, you definitely can move into a product manager role. The only necessary criteria for you to switch to a product manager role is you would want to be a product manager, right? And it should not be, I can't do anything else, let me do a product management. No, that's not going to work, right? The reason why I'm saying this is because you said, hey, I don't know coding, right? I can't code, right? If you can't code, product management role, I will move to a product management role because I can't code. That's not a good reason to get into product management, right? So don't worry about coding or not coding. Strictly speaking, product manager does not require to code. I don't know of a single product manager who in their product manager role are sitting and writing code. They might have been developers before in their life where they have coded. They are probably using the technical expertise to their benefit in their role, but product manager role does not demand coding expertise in you, right? Now, coming to your specific questions that you have a sales background and can I move into a product manager role? Sure, absolutely. And the answer that I gave Rakesh applies to you also, right? In a sales role, possibly you have deep empathy for your prospects and customers. That's something that you can use in your product manager role. You've got problem solving skills because you heard your clients, you understand their problems, you did a root cause analysis, you dug deep, and then delivered a solution that works for them. That is something that you can use in your product manager role. There are certain skills that you'll have to pick up, and those skills you can pick up through proper, structured training. So you pick up that training and move into a product manager role. You'll have a bright career. The only criteria, I repeat, the cost of repeating myself, you want to be a product manager because you love that role. You're not running away from some other role into product manager role, but you're running towards a product manager role because you love that role.
Thanks, Praveen. So there is another one question from Yash Sharma. Is this beneficial for me as I'm an electrical engineer in pharma industry?
You're an electrical engineer in pharma industry. That's north and south there already, right? I can't think of using your electrical engineering skills in pharma. I don't know, right? But sure, why not, right? You can be a product manager if you want to be a product manager. A lot of people from varying roles are successful product managers today. And all that it needs is a mindset, a bunch of training. So sure, absolutely, right? Run towards product manager if you are in love with that role, sure. Here's the thing, guys. Don't aspire to be a product manager because, hey, I hear product managers are paid a enormous salary. No, don't do that, right? There are other roles that are paid more or equal salaries, right? Don't come in here for the sake of money. Money is there, definitely, but don't come in, don't be a product manager only for the sake of money, right? Be a product manager because problem solving is your thing, and you have deep love and respect for your users, and you want to make their life better. That's the reason you got to choose this role, not because there's a lot of money in this, right? Thank you.
Yes, Praveen. So there is another one question from Krunal. Hi, I'm sales manager with Havells India Limited, working on industrial products and solar energy solutions. So what is the best suitable option for me?
I assume you're asking what is the best suitable option for me in product management, and if that is the right assumption, then if I were you, I would explore if there's a product manager role within Havells. Not title, not designation. The designation could be general manager, the designation could be senior manager, but the role expects you to do product management, which is know your users, learn their problems, have empathy for them, find out how you can solve their problems within the business construct of Havells, right? Sure, right? If I were you, I would explore if I can move from a sales role into a role where I'm doing product management activities, which is designing new products for my customers to solve their very specific problems within the construct of the business objectives of Havells. So I would try and do that.
Okay. So Abhishek has actually posted one question. I am a creative media professional with 15 plus years of an experience in film and media industry. Want to build a MVP for the same industry. Should I do product management course or learn to hire one?
Actually, neither. First, find out what is a problem that that your users or your consumers or customers or people in that field are facing, and they try to solve that. For example, here's the thing: there are 10,000 movie screens in India. That's it. Compare that to there's 1,40,000 people, 140,000 people for every single movie screen in India. That number in the US is 8,000. 8,000 movie screens for 8,000 people for one movie screens in the US. There's 1,40,000 people for one movie screen in India. That's a big problem. Is it not? What's the problem? Movies, theaters, and distributors control which movie gets screened and which movie does not find a space in the theaters. Solve that problem, right? And then figure out if you want to hire a product manager or be one. It's a role, guys, first of all. It's a role, not a designation. Every founder is a product manager first, and then hands over the title responsibilities of product management to somebody else. But a founder remains a product manager throughout, right? Tell me what a founder is doing other than solving a problem within the construct of their startup's objectives. It is product management, right? Over a period of time, other responsibilities add up on founder. For example, dealing with the investors, raising funds, dealing with the government and bureaucracy. Those other, responsibilities add up, leaving the founder with less and less time to do actual product problem solving. Therefore, they will divest those responsibilities into a product manager's hired separately. But if you're starting off, you are the product manager already. Who's stopping you?
So the next question is from Paul Varghese. What are those skills that product managers should carry during the project implementation? Also, there are different types of product managers. Could you kindly touch on this point?
Okay, so those are two huge questions, right? What are the various skills? I would point you to go to a website called Edge AI, EDGE. I'm going to put this in the chat here, right? EDGE.ai, right? Go there, sign up. It is free. Run an assessment and discover your skills that you need for product managers. So it says it evaluates. There's the AI-based solution that evaluates your current skills and gaps that you might have vis-a-vis a product management role. So that is where there are about 200 atomic skills, and those skills that you bring together in various proportions for every task that you execute as a product manager, right? So it evaluates your skill at AI and gives you, a beautiful display of all the skills and the gaps that you have. So that's the answering the skills questions. The second question is in terms of various types of product managers. Give me 1 second. Let me pull up a slide for you, and I'll like explain that. I am going to stop sharing screen for a second. I'm going to open a slide that we. Oh boy. Okay, it's here. Give me 1 second. 1 second. Okay, so you can see this, right? First dimension along which you can say, you can slice and dice the flavors in product management is domain, right? Which domain are you working on? Are you working on a real estate domain, a retail domain, a fintech domain? There's thousands of domains. So that's the first slice that you can take. The second slice is who's your buyer, right? Who will buy your product? Is that buyer a B2C, a consumer facing product, or a business B2B facing product? Or are you working inside a company where the products that you develop are used by internal stakeholders of the company? So that's the second slice that you can take. The third slice that you can take is what is the end user profile? Is your end user a consumer? Is your end user an engineer? Or is your end user a professional consumer or a prosumer, right? So the product that you're building varies. Is, for example, a Postman or a MuleSoft or AWS. These are products that for which end users are engineers. iOS, iPhone, Slack, these are products, Zoom and WhatsApp, and these are products that are facing the consumer, right? Professional consumers, for example, Office Macro is aimed not at engineer, not a normal consumer also, but a slightly more savvy and tech savvy user, called a consumer. That's the third dimension along which you can slice a product manager role. The fourth one is focus, right? Are you an innovator? As in that product or a solution does not exist in the market, that problem has not yet been solved. You are finding a new way of solving the problem. So then you are an innovator, right? The second one is, or you're a builder, right? A builder is the product is already there. You're building on top of the product. You're finding more and more problems or issues that the products already existing users are facing, or you are trying to find new user personas to use your product, and therefore you are building more and more features. Then you are a focused builder. The third one is growth, right? You are trying to get more and more users to adopt your already existing product. So what's your focus? That's the fourth dimension along which you can slice it. The fifth one is what's your product type? Are you developing a hardware product like a phone, right? Are you producing a digital product, like a software app, things like that? Are you producing consumer electronics? It's an Xbox or a PS5 or things like that. I'm leaving out non-tech products out of this, right? There could be that slice also possible, right? Anything is a product. For example, red label tea is also a product, right? So I'm leaving those kinds of FMCG, those products out of the equation. I'm talking because product manager as a role does not exist in all those industries right now. Although technically speaking, those also are roles as a product manager role. The last slice along which you can slice the product is that what kind of where is it? Is it a middleware, right? Or is it a platform? Or is it an app, right? What kind of app thing is it, right? So for example, if it's a middleware, AWS is a middleware, right? It's not the end product that your people use. Your app or a product is going to sit on AWS and your end users are going to use your product, right? If you're a product manager in Amazon working on AWS features, you are working on a middleware product, right? You're working on an app server, you're working on a DB server, right? People who are working on Oracle databases, right? They're working on middlewares, right? That's the then there's a platform, right? UPI is a platform, right? ONDC is a platform. Right now, Amazon is a platform. It's Zomato is a platform, right? It's bringing multi-faced end users onto that's a platform. Then there's an app, right? Which is the actual app. Slack is an app. It's not a platform, it's an app. A single product can have a dimension to it that's a platform, dimension to it that's an app, right? So you can use this heuristic to slice what kind of a product manager you are. You can say, hey, I am a B2C product manager and my expertise is in innovating. And I have deep domain knowledge in finance industry, right? That's the way you can slice and dice and say, this is the kind of product manager that I am, right? So this is the heuristic that I kind of created over. This is not some textbook. It's not some Harvard professor that's created it. It's just simple me based on my experience. You might take it to whatever extent you believe in it, right? All right, sounds good. So the next question, please.
Yeah, there is a question from Abhilash. Yeah, this question I can answer, Praveen.
Okay, please.
Related to the placement part. Yeah, the placement is a part of this program. So this comes under this package. So we help you with resume building, mock interviews, and we would be assisting you for the placement opportunities also. Okay. And yeah. So there is another one question, Praveen.
Yeah.
Sonia. So I am a senior product manager with 6 years of an experience in managing IoT platforms and products. Not sure if this course is for me.
Okay, that's a question for you, I think.
So yeah, I will be answering this. So Yeah, this course would be helpful for you, Sonia, because here, if you see, we have the working professionals with a great experience who are coming and looking forward for this. So basically, if you want to step your career, it is not just for you to become a product manager, but tomorrow in terms of if you want to get into the job roles of product head, product general manager, the chief product officer level profiles also, this program would be suitable for you. Because by after the completion of this program, you will be multi-skilled because the entire life cycle of a product is what we are focusing throughout this program. So basically from an idea, how to bring out a new product into the market and how to launch the product and how to keep improving your product according to the market trends and demands is being covered in this program. So we do have people from the product management profile with a great experience also coming and looking forward for the upskilling. Okay, I hope this is clear, Sonia. And there is another one question from Jitendra. I am a commerce graduate. I have developed software products for consumer electronic dealers as I'm working as a dealer since 2002. I had started development center in 2016, looking for investor for marketing and more invitation in my product. Will this program help me?
I don't know. This is a question for you also. The thing that I can say to Sonia as well as Jitendra here is that, hey, learning is a never-ending journey, right? So one of the things about product management is being open to learning all the time. The only product manager that does not require learning and has all the skills in the right proportion that it is required, I think is Lord Almighty, right? That's the only product manager that I know who needs no training. Everybody else needs training, right? So whether you are starting off or you already have a development center, you want to scale, everybody needs some amount of coaching and training and learning, right? So you've got to view from your lens of where you are, where you need to hit, and what's the gap that you have, and do I need learning, and will the course from IIM Indore that's being offered, will it help me, is something that you've got to evaluate. But if I were you, I would evaluate it with a positive mindset about, hey, this is this program that's been running for several years now. And there's a lot of frameworks that is being offered within this program. I let me look at it from a lens of how I can make use of this program rather than asking the question, will this program help me, right? And it will definitely open up doors for you. So that's how I want to answer that question. But Megha, please, that's your question too.
Yeah, thanks, Praveen. So there is another one question from Shashank. So duration of the course and the fee. So duration of the program would be for 6 months, Shashank, and it would be the weekend classes, which is going to be held on Saturday and Sunday. So it's going to be from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. classes. And the fees for this program is coming around to 3,54,200. So we also have no cost EMI options for 18 months. So online completely or immersion too. Yeah, it's a completely online live interactive training, which is going to happen for 6 months. And even if you miss out the classes, you'll have recordings, which is being available. And there would be a convocation program, which will be held from campus, where you're supposed to visit the campus and collect your certification from there. Any real life projects during the program? Yes, we are covering up real life industry-based projects also. We would be, the complete program is more into the practical based training. So we would be making you to work upon the bring your own product concept, where you would be evaluated completely based upon how you perform in the 5I framework concept, the complete life cycle of the product. So basically, this is not just a course completion certificate. This is a certification with the evaluation process, which is going to happen. So you would be evaluated based upon your assessments, how you perform in the Harvard Business Case Studies, and how you perform in the complete life cycle of the product. Okay, and there is one question for you, Praveen, which is from Shubham. How to dig down to understand needs. I am in healthcare industry. I only understand that people want good consultation. What more? What can be other more needs to it? And whenever we talk to someone, everyone has needs and wants. How to dig and distinguish? Any methodology for it?
Great question, right? How to discover needs. This is it's a complex set of underlying skills that work together for you to be a good discoverer of needs. Few things that you need to understand is how to ask questions, not the right questions, simply how to ask questions, right? And to ask questions, the underlying skill that comes into picture are two underlying skills. One is your ability to communicate clearly and correctly. The second one is a trait called curiosity, right? So asking the right questions driven by your curiosity is one very important dimension to a product manager role to discover the consumer needs. The second thing is you need to be extremely good at observation, right? Observing people, doing their work day to day, and figuring out why are they doing their job like this and not like that, and things like that. So that's the second thing about observation. The third thing is the mindset called the technique called root cause analysis. And root cause analysis has two underlying techniques. If you want some hard skills, here they are. Root cause analysis has two underlying hard skills, right? One is called 5 why analysis, and the second one is called fishbone diagram, right? 5 why analysis means while you are engaging your users or your consumers, your customers in a discussion, you use this 5 why technique to ask why 5 times. And it is said that if you start with a why, first why, and then continue to asking why, the response to the fifth why is their root cause, right? So what appears at the surface is only a symptom. That is not where your solution should attack, right? What should work is to the root cause. You should attack the root cause. So when you have a symptom, you ask why is that, and then why is that, and then why is that. So for example, let's say what can I say? Let's say you see a huge rush outside a restaurant. It's always crowded, right? And and then the owner of the restaurant says, hey, listen, I have too much crowd, I can't handle it, right? There are two ways to attack it. One is a not product manager way, which is raise your prices. That is shooting your mouth off, right? Raise prices, increase the prices, therefore the demand comes down. This is pure simple economics. I don't have to teach you that. That is one way of responding. That's called band-aid solution, right? That's not going to work because you are attacking at the symptom level. The root cause is that why do you think there is too much queue? Can I stand here and observe, right? Can I discover why is there so much crowd, right? And when you observe or you ask the owners if it's too much crowd, is because within the restaurant, the customers take a long time to complete their meal and vacate the table. Only after they vacate the table can I invite the other person in. Okay, all right. So what times are there too much crowd? What is the duration? When are they? Is it all the time? Or is it during specific time? Oh, okay. So it's specific time, only during peak hours. Fantastic. Got it. So you see what I'm saying? So if you are curious and you ask the question, why, eventually you will get to a root cause, right? Eventually you will get to a root cause, right? And there need not be one root cause. There can be several root causes. And you aggregate all of those root causes and say, hey, okay, among these 20 root causes, which are causing overcrowding, what root cause is causing how much overcrowding? What is the contribution of each root cause to that overcrowding? So then you use other analysis technique called Pareto analysis, and let me pick up the top 5 root causes and attack them. And then you say, okay, how is the best way to resolve these root causes? What are the best options in form of a solution? You brainstorm solutions, work with the stakeholders, consumers, and then keep them involved in the journey of discovery and solutioning, and then say, okay, this is the best. See what I'm saying? So this is a core bread and butter role of a product manager, right? Requires a lot of empathy, a lot of patience, a lot of observation skills, a lot of communication, a lot of curiosity, a lot of mindset to not quickly shoot your mouth off and jump to a solution, right? So that's the whole 9 yards. Does that answer your question, Shubha? Okay. Sounds good. So I'm seeing a few, threads of discussion happening on the chat, and people are saying, "Hey, I hear product manager, I hear product owner, business analyst, scrum master, project owner, program manager." Arre baapre. What is all these things? Can somebody put all of this in some sort of? Can you reconcile these roles for me? Right. So let me try and address that a little bit. Right. Okay, here is how I would look at it, right? Can you see the screen, everybody here? On the left side of this line is the project manager, scrum master roles, right? There is some overlap on those two. We're not going to talk about that. On the right side of the slide, you've got these three roles, large roles. There's a product manager role, there's a product owner role, and there's a business analyst role. Right? There's a in any solutioning life cycle, right? There are 6 Ds. There are 6 Ds, right? It starts with discovery, right? Discovering issues, problems, understanding why those issues are there, looking at the root causes. That is discovery. Then comes definition, which is what are the possible solutions conceptually. How can I solve these problems, these root causes, issues? After discovery, that's come definitions. Once you define the solution, you create a business case, you chart a product strategy, you say, hey, this is how we can take this product to market, this is the GTM, things like that. That's definition. Then comes design, right? Take the solution and actually design the solution, design the user experience, design the functionality, design the features, create a product backlog, that's design. Then comes develop, right? Take the design and actually develop, right? Create the product, code, run that is develop. Then comes deploy, right? Put that product in front of the consumers, in front of users, ask them to use it, and then make sure that when you deploy, you use the proper GT and go to market to make sure that it's adopted at the right level. And once you deploy, you debrief, you learn from the deployment, seeing how users are using it, how many users are using it, why are they not adopting it, why are they adopting it so quickly, what features are they adopting it so much. So you do a lot of research. That's debrief. And the debrief goes back to discover. So the 6 Ds are discover, define, design, develop, deploy, debrief. And this is an infinite loop. It goes on and on and on, right? So if you remember these 6 Ds, typically a product manager role goes through all those 6 Ds, right? But normally in practice, the product manager delegates the design, develop, and deploy roles to a product owner. A product owner gets embedded in the project team, in a scrum team, where actual project is executed in iterations, right? A role that is defined within that team is called a product owner role, right? Product manager is not a role defined in project execution framework, right? It's a role that is larger than that. Product owner is embedded in the project team. Product owner works closely with the product manager, understands the product strategy, understands the features, functionality, and and elaborates it, develops it, details it to an extent that that development team can understand, the design team can understand, and develop that, right? So that's a product owner role and the product manager role. A business analyst, on the other hand, is a title that exists in the IT industry where a BA is not bringing a product to the market. A BA is delivering the solution to a very specific known customer. You are normally within the IT industry, right? You're working for an Infosys or an Accenture or an Entity Data or a Mindtree. You're working for a company and your role is that of a BA. Mindtree has engaged with the Bank of America, has contracted with a State Street Bank. It's contracted with the Pricewaterhouse. They're proper customers, right? That they're contracting with, and those customers have problems that they need to solve in the form of IT system development, and business analysts work in that framework, in that context, to define the requirements of a specific IT system that needs to be developed, right? So business analyst is a role that exists within the IT industry, specifically in those companies which are services-based companies. Having said that, you might see that as a significant portion of a BA role is outside of the product manager role. And the reason why there's a large overlap is because the principles, the skills that are used by a BA to a large extent also is used by a product manager, right? There is discovery that needs to be done by a BA. There is definition that needs to be done by a BA. There is design, define, develop, and deploy. Maybe they don't do debrief, right? The portion that is outside here independently, that applies only to a business analyst and not a product manager, is that of the consulting flavor. So if you are in a McKinsey, if you are in a BCG, if you are in a consulting organization, right? The consulting flavor, that is also business analysis. That is problem solving, that is strategic business analysis. Those people are also business analysts, although their title is a consultant. Right? Does this add some, does this answer your questions to some extent at least?
Yes, that was really helpful, Praveen.
Okay. Yeah, no, Vikrant, Komal is asked, Komal, so is PO equal to a BA? Maybe it now satisfies your answer, right? Right? In a services organization, also somebody called a PO might exist. That means that the services organization is executing a Scrum framework project, right? The project in Agile, right? And therefore, a product owner as defined within Scrum, within SAFe, exists in that role. Okay, so I'll shut up now.
Yes. So I'll answer 2 more questions and we'll close for the day.
Okay.
So there is one last question that I can handle it. When does the course start? So the course would be commencing on December 24th with the live classes. So before that, we would be starting with the domain specific courses. So we are still taking up the application process, everything for the next 10 days. Okay. And there was another one question which I have received it from Abhilash. How is it different from other courses offered by other IIMs like IIM Lucknow also have similar courses? Yes, Abhilash, over here I have 3 points to tell you. The first main comparison, which you can actually have it from your end, is bring your own product concepts. Because if you compare with any other IIMs, no one is teaching you how to actually develop your own idea as a product in tomorrow's market. So that is one major comparison which you can have, because when you work upon your own idea, you will have a lot of things to implement and it will be a little more comfortable for you. And the second thing is the 5I framework concept. Basically, if you see most of the other IIM programs, if they're just revolving around the development part of the product, we are teaching you from an ideate to the development and to the industrialization part and the continuous improvement part of the product, which will help you to get into the senior most level profiles in product side also. The third comparison which you can actually have is the live hours of classes, 200 hours of online live interactive training. Where other institutes, if you see more than 70 hours, none of them are actually providing it. And one-on-one mentoring sessions also, because that is also something which most of the professionals are actually looking forward for. So in the first month itself, you will be assigned with a mentor from the industry, and they would be actually there to guide you separately throughout for the next 6 months also. So you will also have the group classes. Along with that, individual mentoring classes also would be happening. Okay.
Okay, all right. So if that's the end of Q&A, I had promised one more bonus secret, and here you go. That yes, secret is product managers, successful product managers, they lie lightly within their teams, like a lotus leaf. Padma patram iva, that's in Sanskrit, right? Like a lotus leaf. A lotus leaf has to stay within water to be alive, but water does not stick to it, right? It does not absorb water. It just gently lies, floats on water. Water does not stick to it, right? Meaning to say, that it helps for you to have a ego-less awareness, ego-less nature in yourself, right? Otherwise, you start getting a lot of feedback on your product. This is good. This is not good. Why did you do this? And things like that, right? If you marry your product, if you're so attached to your product, then it's very difficult for you to focus on the real issues of the users. You're so involved and completely occupied in defending your product that you'll forget that you're there for solving users' problem, right? Instead, don't marry your product, obsess over your users and their problems. And if you're obsessive over your users and the issues that they're facing and how to resolve those, not worrying too much about your product, so to speak, right? If your product solves the user problems, the adoption will happen on its own, right? So the seventh secret is it helps to be like a lotus leaf. It helps to have an egoless nature, right? So with that, I'm going to thank you for participating in this session. If you want to follow me on Twitter, it's Product Fundas. On LinkedIn, it's Praveen Udupa. Give me a shout out, send me a connection request. Happy to connect back, and we'll see how things progress, right? So I'd like to thank Afia, Megha, and the entire UNext team for thinking of me for this webinar. I enjoyed, collaborating. I enjoyed participating, exchanging ideas with you all. Really, thank you very much for spending your Friday evening with all of us. Hopefully, this is all worthwhile, right? So saying that, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Have a nice Friday, rest of the weekend. God bless. Take care.
Thank you, Praveen. Thank you once again for taking your valuable time for this wonderful session.
No problem.
So since we have limited time, we would be ending today's session here. For the leftover queries, you can contact me to my email ID or the contact number, which I have shared in the chat window. Thanks everyone for joining with us for today. And thank you, Praveen, once again.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yeah, thanks. Bye.